Happy Monday. So by now, I think a lot of us have heard the stat that was published by NAR back in 2014, where they said that 87% of new real estate agents will fail in their first 5 years of business, not because they made too much money, but because they didn't make any. So I want to talk a little bit about why I think that is and what you can do about it. So in my time in real estate, we're going on 8 years, the better part of a decade. I've definitely seen that stat play out over and over again. I've seen more real estate agents come and go out of this industry than stay. And the fact that my husband and I have kind of made it this long and have a thriving, exciting business that we love is something that we're super proud of, but it didn't happen by accident, and it certainly didn't happen for any reason other than being really intentional and working really hard. So I think that what it really boils down to, I think the number one factor of success for real estate agents is going to come down to whether or not they are strategically planning for their success. Like whether or not they actually have a strategic plan to be successful. And it sounds kind of funny when you say it that way, I think, because you might be listening to this and think, well, Stephanie, of course I want to be successful. Like, of course that's the plan. But the challenge is if you don't actually have a strategic plan, if you don't have a 12-month outlook, a 3-year outlook, a 5-year outlook, and if you don't understand how to take that goal of where you want your business to be and then break that down into the quarterly milestones, the monthly projects, and the daily and weekly actions that are ultimately going to get you there. If you don't have that level of planning in place, then you're planning to fail. And you may have heard that quote, but it's absolutely true. If you are not planning to go somewhere, you're going to end up where you don't want to be. And I think that that's a challenge that the vast majority of real estate agents struggle with because, number one, they get into the business completely unaware of what it's going to actually take for them to be successful. I think that some agents definitely have some insights on what it's going to take. And I think that most of us understand that it's going to be hard. But I, for one, was completely unprepared for the realities of building a real estate business in 2014, 2015. I had no experience, no money for marketing, and really no clue how we were going to make it happen. And ultimately, we made it through that first year just by working really, really hard. And at the end of that year, we still had nothing to show for it. We earned 6 figures in revenue, but looking back, we had no idea how to recreate that. And so starting our second year, it was almost like my husband and I had to start from scratch again. And that's where a lot of real estate agents find themselves, where they might have a really good year, but they have no idea what happened to produce the results they saw. And maybe you felt that way too. What a strategic plan does is it makes it really clear on not only what your goals are, so writing that number on the wall, I want to earn $150,000 this year or whatever, but it breaks it down into like the step-by-step action plan that's going to get you there so that you aren't going to be distracted by shiny objects. You're not going to fall off the path, and you're going to be able to stay motivated for the long run. And so that's the level of planning that it really takes to be successful in this business. Not having a lot of money to buy leads, not being really good at converting clients, although that's a really important part of it. It's really just having an understanding of how you're going to get there and how you're going to track your progress, so that you can continue to double down on what's working and get rid of what's not. And that's a skill that can take some time to develop. The challenging thing here is no broker or team leader, most brokers and team leaders, don't have the resources or care to help you with this. And so it's really on the shoulders of the individual real estate agent to figure this out. And ultimately, some either do, most don't, and they have to leave the profession. And that's what I've seen after not only selling real estate for about 8 years now, but also coaching real estate agents in the US and Canada for the last 4 years of that time. And so what I want to share with you is 3 main benefits that you're going to get by creating a strategic plan. And then I'm going to help give you a few pointers to get you started. before I get into that, I want to let you know that we have something really cool that we're rolling out with Market Authority. So like I mentioned, I am an actively producing real estate agent here with my husband. We're a small but mighty team here in the Phoenix Scottsdale area. And I also love coaching and mentoring real estate agents across the country and beyond. And we actually have something brand new that we're rolling out that's going to be available to everybody later this month. And it's going to be super, super cool. So definitely stay until the end of this video to learn a little bit about what that is. I'll share details at the end. But right now I want to talk about the 3 benefits of creating your strategic plan. So the first big benefit that we're going to have by creating a strategic plan is it's just going to improve your odds of success, right? And like, what are you willing to invest to have a greater chance of success and earning the income that you want, right? What are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to hedge your bets against? Having a strategic plan really gives you a sense of ownership in your business, and it helps put you back in the driver's seat so that you're making data-driven, intentional decisions, not just reacting every time something comes up. And I think that's where a lot of the lack of motivation and a lot of that feeling of overwhelm and burnout comes from, is just feeling like you're reacting and not actively taking steps and participating in your own ability to build success. So I think that's number 1. The second benefit that it's going to allow us to have is the benefit of focus. And I think that's a really, really important one. That might be the most important benefit here, because in real estate, there's so many shiny objects, right? And there are so many different ways and paths that you can take to create a business. It's so hard to decide which one is right for you. And it's also a very isolating business. So a lot of times you're making these decisions alone, and you really have no one to measure yourself against other than just who you were yesterday or last year, right? And that can be exhausting in and of itself. Now, one of my friends, Brock Johnson, actually recently posted a reel about this on his Instagram account. He's a friend of the Market Authority show. He was on the podcast last year. I think it was last year. If you don't follow him on Instagram, he shares a lot of really cool tips for Instagram reels, things like that. But he shared a statement that really struck me. And it was, if you don't have big enough goals, or rather he said, if your goals are big enough for you to accomplish on your own, you're not dreaming big enough. And I think that made a lot of sense. And he kind of went on further to say, listen, if your goals are not big enough to where you need a team supporting you, you need luck on your side, you need God on your side, you need the universe on your side, you need that support system to get you there, then you're not dreaming big enough. And I could not agree with that more. And so when you have a strategic plan, it allows you to have focus on the steps that you need to get there, but it also allows you to know who you need in your corner to help you accomplish these really big goals. Because you don't have to go it alone, but it's really hard to know what kind of support you need if you're not understanding what items you need to be focusing on in the first place. Now, the last benefit I wanted to share with you is it's going to give you confidence. If you're winging it, if you're flying by the seat of your pants, if you're throwing whatever at the wall just to see what sticks, your clients are going to pick up on that. Like, they're going to see that energy. And not only your clients, but your colleagues, your team co-members, maybe even an assistant or transaction coordinator or a showing assistant, if you get that far, they're going to pick up on that energy that you're kind of driving without a map. And that is a really challenging place to be in from a leadership standpoint, because at the end of the day, if you choose to be a real estate agent, you are walking into a leadership role, even if you're a solo agent. You're helping lead your community to make better decisions for buying and selling. You're helping leaders of families guide their families on this path of homeownership. And so it really comes down to whether or not you have the confidence and the know-how to make that happen and to guide the people who rely on you well. And so having a strategic plan is going to help you understand where you are in the process. And it's also going to help you be able to convey the mission that you are working towards. Everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something. Everybody wants to feel like they are part of a greater mission, something that's larger than themselves. And even just from a leadership standpoint, that's a huge benefit to be able to have that clarity and to bring those individuals along with you on your journey. So again, when you're thinking about a strategic plan, I want you to think of this as insurance for your success. Like, what are you willing to hedge your bets on when it comes to your ability to provide for your family and to tap into your God-given potential? I think about that all the time, and over the years, we have been very intentional about creating strategic plans for our business, and it's a core part of what I coach now in the Market Authority Academy. But it's also a big part of how I make decisions and who I align with, who we hire, and what coaches I need to be hiring, because I have multiple coaches that I work with who help me ensure my own success as well. But having a strategic plan helps me understand who I need in my corner. So all that to say, this is a really easy question to ask yourself. Are you building your business by design? Are you making decisions with intention? Do you have a plan? Do you have a vision with where you want to go? And if you don't, that might be a red flag as far as something that you can actively get on now. If you're in your business and you're in kind of a slower season right now because the market is shifting, this is the time that you need to be addressing things like your strategic plan. And we're also getting to that time of year where you need to be doing this just naturally anyway. So my entire team is taking on a 3-day strategic planning event just internally for us to make sure that we're planning for 2023. We typically do business planning in August or September because it's the end of the fiscal year and we're beginning to plan for the next year. And aside from that, there's also a lot of things going on in my life personally that we need to be preparing for. So that would be my prompt for you today in this long rant. I thought this was going to be a little shorter, but sorry, brevity is not always my friend, but I wanted to make sure to share just all of my thoughts just as they came. The thing that I have coming out next week, if you are watching this today at the time of this recording, it's August 8th. Starting August 17th, we're going to have a really cool live coaching session series coming up in our private Facebook group. So that it's public Facebook, but you have to join this group to be a part of it. We're going to have a bunch of details coming out, so definitely check that out. And if you are on our email list, you will be notified as well. But it's open to the public, free for everybody, and it might really get some of these juices rolling for you, which is really cool. And I would love to invite you and see you there. So that's beginning August 17th. All of the details I'm going to have in the show notes below, so check that out and join us if you're around. I'd love to hang out with you live and help get you closer to where you want to be. Thanks so much for tuning in. Till next time, keep on crushing it.